All right, let's talk about a dominant performance here by Caleb Williams and this Bears offense. Really, I mean, a great job by the Bears as a whole in this game. Their offense and defense was spectacular, but Caleb Williams, who I thought started the season really slow, coming on here, and listen, it wasn't all perfect. We'll get into some negatives here, but man, were there a lot of positives to talk about. So yeah, let's talk about the small bad and the many good plays that Caleb Williams had here in this one. Let's start off with this play. I actually think this play will tell a lot about how this game went for Chicago and why, when they were able to have success, they were able to kind of easily have success, which is, you see for Jacksonville, it's just a three-man rush that they're in right here. They're setting 8 in the coverage, so okay, making sure that they, have a lot of guys back there to help cover a route like what you see on the screen, this over-the-middle type route. Despite this, you're going to see that Caleb Williams, he looks over, fires over, and times this very well. You have to give Caleb Williams credit for really well-timed throw. Again, this is the stuff you see like Tua do really well. It's important stuff. It can, get the ball down the field really effectively. But also, this was open, right? For sure there was a window. And the reality is, Jacksonville's just not great at this zone coverage. This isn't what they do. This isn't what they excel at. They're much better when they're playing man-to-man. Because of this, they're able to pick up a big completion and, get to the 50-yard line. So you might be saying, well, wait a second. Well, if that's not what Jacksonville is great at, why are they doing this? What's the point there? Why don't they just play man coverage? Well, let's watch them playing man coverage. This is a cover 2 man, a coverage that is very much designed to be able to, help out these Jacksonville corners who tend to be pretty good at this type of stuff, even if you're going up against a pretty good Bears receiving core. And on this play, it works out for Jacksonville. They got everything covered. I mean, Williams is looking down the field. There is nothing open. This is good coverage here by Jacksonville. Here's the issue. When you're playing this coverage, you can just see down the field, you have 5 defensive players who are now just covering their assigned guy. They have no idea what Caleb Williams is doing. They're playing the man instead of the ball. The Jaguars do have 2 safeties deep, but those guys are very deep, so they're essentially out of the play as well. The only players who are looking at Caleb Williams and could make a tackle on Caleb Williams are the 4 players rushing the passer. So when Williams is able to get around the defensive lineman, there's really no one there, and he picks up a good amount of yards. Now, I'm going to pause it right here. I do have one nitpick here. You see Williams does not slide here. I think that was a mistake. And I get why he did, because there was less than 20 seconds left at this point for the for the Bears in the half, and they wanted to make sure they got 7. They only had 1 timeout left, so trying to just get the touchdown there. I understand it. If it's a playoff game, sure, but I don't know. You're already up against Jacksonville. You're in a pretty good spot. I would rather him take the slide there. I think that's not worth the hit, because guys get injured that way. But on the kind of bigger level, this is why things were able to work so well, because you had, really good success rushing the football when Jacksonville tried to play man. You forced them into a coverage they're not good at, and then were able to execute against that coverage. There were some negatives, including this one, which was, there's no getting around it. This was an awful play by Caleb Williams. It just was, where it's a zone coverage concept. You have the route you see on your screen. This is a DJ Moore route that, you have a play action that can hopefully move the linebackers and even the corner a little bit further in, and then you hope that you can get him towards the sideline. Watch, when Williams takes a snap, this play action works. The corner does move in. He's trying to pass off the receiver to the safety, but the safety is more over the middle of the field. So there is a window towards the sideline. It's a 3rd down. This is absolutely the throw Caleb Williams should be making. But it's just an awful throw. It's way too much air under it. It gets intercepted kind of easily, honestly. I don't know why. We know he can throw one on a line, so I don't know why he made that decision. This might just be one of those, in college, safeties can't get over there as quickly type of plays, or rookie mistakes, so to speak. Williams is capable of making this throw. I don't know why he didn't on this one. Very bad throw that could have allowed them to get a touchdown, and instead ends up in an interception. That's a 7-point swing right there. Also, he will have these pesky little plays. He's cut down on them a lot, but they still do exist, where this was on the first drive. It's a 3rd down and 7 right here. Williams is going to take the snap. He looks over, doesn't love what he sees, and at this point, it's not going well. He wants to just throw a check down, which isn't a horrible idea, although, again, it's the NFL. You kind of have to get into your stuff a little bit quicker right here, but his head is down. He can't see what's in front of him, and ends up just spiking this right off of his lineman's helmet, but he kind of threw that one blind, too. That wasn't was not a great play by Caleb Williams. It just wasn't. Wasn't a disaster, and like I said, he's cutting down on these plays, but still, you want to see him get through this stuff quicker. You want to see him not doing this, because, again, if that wasn't his own offensive lineman and was instead a Jaguars defensive lineman, maybe that's a fumble or interception or something. It's just not worth the risk there. Like this one, it's a 3rd down and 8, so kind of understandable to hold on to the ball for a touch too long, perhaps. But you see, when Williams takes the snap, this is more than a touch too long. I'm going to pause this. We're over 4 seconds into the play at this point. And the main reason I had to pause it is because I can't let a clip play for too long, or I'll get copyright claimed. But you see right here, again, there's not really a place to go with the football. You gotta, again, it's not the worst thing in the world to throw the ball away on a 3rd down and 8. Sometimes it's what you have to do. Here, he tries to get out of it and ends up taking the sack. Not the worst one in the world, but still probably not one he should have made. And then this one, you see again, holding on to the ball for too long on a 1st and 10 results in a sack. And then this one, trying to scramble up, and there's just not being a place to scramble. So again, this is just what you get with Caleb Williams, right? You see all those great runs that he had, a lot of great runs. That's very cool to see. There is going to be some negatives as well. In this game, the good more than outweighed the bad, but it's still fair to talk about both the good and the bad. But again, going back to some positives, I think the biggest positive for me is just how consistently he's making good throws. That's kind of the big thing, is that, in weeks 1 through 3, the frustrating thing was like, okay, he'd make the occasional play, but for the most part, he just wasn't really hitting on many of these throws. Now, he's gone the other way, where he's just hitting on most of these throws. So this is what's really optimistic to see. It's a 3rd down and goal, zone coverage. You have a receiver who's going to try and get into a gap in coverage in that middle section. Watch as when Williams takes the snap, he looks over and fires over, and this isn't a big window at all. Again, we can say that first play I showed, there was a bit of a window here, but there were plenty of plays like this where it's kind of a tough window. You got to throw this one accurately. You got to throw this one at the right time before the window closes. And Williams hits on this one, and he was hitting on most of these. Again, it's all a consistency thing, right? Anyone in the NFL can make a tough throw. That you're in the NFL, you have the arm talent to do that. Nathan Peterman is capable of making a tough throw, right? What makes someone a valuable starter in the league is you have to be able to do this. You have to be able to make the good throws at a high consistency rate, a high percent, make the high percentage throws a high percentage of the time. And in this game, he was making even some of the low percentage throws a high percentage of the time, which is, part of how these things were able to go so well. And heading over here, this is really good stuff. So you see how the Bears are lined up as though they're going to run the football. They only have one receiver out wide towards the offense's left. Worth mentioning, they're taking the snap on the hash marks towards the offense's right. It's a fade route here on a 2nd and goal. These are usually considered pretty high reward, low risk plays, because as long as you get it up and further down the field, like the chances of an interception tend to be slim as long as you can get a decent throw on it. But watch this. It's very rare to say what a throw on these types of plays, but what a throw right here. Getting the exact right amount of air under it, putting it in a beautiful spot to where Keenan Allen can make the grab. Good job by Keenan Allen getting open as well. Man, is that great stuff or what by Caleb Williams? Wow. This is just high level stuff. So again, don't let the fact that I had some negatives completely deter you from the positives, because yes, there are things he needs to work on, but this is a good performance. He's playing like a good quarterback, not a good rookie quarterback, just a good quarterback now, which is amazing to see given how the first couple games went. Hey, who knew? Maybe having a bad couple of games doesn't mean that you're going to be a bad player forever. But yeah, pretty incredible stuff here by Caleb Williams. Definitely a massive step up and playing some really good football. And the Bears are playing some really good football. Now 4-2. Are they a playoff team? They're playing like one. That's what I think. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.